it's me Kevin again here from Mueller Productions, and welcome to another episode of the General Highlights, where I'll be covering this week's Smackdown Live. So we open up the show with Renee Young in the ring, getting ready for the contract signing between Becky Lynch and Alexa Bliss for their match at TLC this Sunday for the Smackdown Live Women's Championship. So it starts out like any contract signing, they're just trading insults back and forth, till Alexa decides to make some comments about Becky's Irish heritage, which, being Irish, I wasn't too fond of. But like any other Irish person, Becky's had enough and absolutely slugs Alexa Bliss square in the mouth. This sets up a brawl between the two of them, with Becky having the upper hand. She then sets up the table to put Alexa Bliss through it, but while they're on top of the turnbuckle, Alexa rakes the eyes of Becky and ends up throwing her through the table, which ends the opening segment. This was a very promo-heavy SmackDown, which is understandable in a way, considering it's the go-home SmackDown before TLC. So yeah, the first match of the night, we had tag action. We had Ziggler and Kalisto versus Miz and Baron Corbin. Okay folks, I know I'm going to be running through this one quickly, but to be honest, not a whole pile happened in this episode. It was nearly all promos, very little lingering action. Speaking of promos, we're backstage this time with American Alpha, basically talking about their match with the Wyatts tonight for the #1 contendership of the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. I honestly don't know what to make of American Alpha. I saw one match of theirs in NXT and I thought they were very impressive. They're very impressive in the ring. But as their personalities go, they're kind of a little bit bipolar, because they start out the interview very goofy, kind of nerdy, and then suddenly, on a dime, they go serious. I'm kind of going, lads, you're either one or the other. Okay, I can understand you can do comedy and serious at the same time, but there has to be kind of a blend between the two of them. You can't just switch from one to the other and expect people to buy into it. So straight away then we cut to a vignette with the Wyatts, and they're just basically on about how they're going to dominate American Alpha, you know, the usual Wyatt rhetoric. But then we find out that Luke Harper also has a match tonight against the Demon Kane, and Wyatt turns to Harper and says, "You send Kane back to hell," which isn't an easy task. So then we're led to believe that we have a match up next, Carmella versus an unknown opponent. But when Carmella comes out to the ring, she goes, "Oh, I just want to say some stuff first," and she goes, "Oh, I want to apologise to John Cena for what I'm going to do to his girlfriend on Sunday," and she makes reference to how she's going to smash Nikki Bella's boobs out through her back, which, I'm no doctor, but that's physically impossible, isn't it? But this results in Nikki running out to the ring and just hammering the shit out of Carmella. Yeah, so like I said folks, it was all quick promos like this and quick matches throughout this episode of SmackDown. When we come back from the ad break then, it's time for the Ambrose Asylum with guest James Ellsworth. Dean and Ambrose are just shooting the shade about how Ellsworth has beaten AJ Styles 3 times. As much as he'd love to take on Dean for the World Championship, he'd also love to take on Styles for the Championship and maintain his winning run against AJ. I don't know about you folks, but this whole Ellsworth thing is starting to wear very fucking thin with me. It was funny at the start, it was entertaining, but when you've got other roster members who are taking a back seat to let someone like Ellsworth go for championships and all this, if I was backstage, I would not be fucking happy with this. Now the crowd are going to have to realise at some stage this is just a gimmick that, wait, look, do you honestly want to see the World Championship on Ellsworth? No one does. But anyway, I'll digress. My little rant there. As everyone more or less guessed, AJ Styles comes out to the ring, starts to run down Ellsworth. Joe pretty much said what I said, but then he shoves Ellsworth and Dean goes flying against the ladder. He then proceeds to absolutely kick the shit out of Ellsworth. There was a couple of iffy spots and there was one fucking dangerous looking spot. But at one stage, Ellsworth goes out through the ropes, very awkwardly out through the ropes, and holds himself in a kind of a 45-degree plank angle, so that Styles can come out and smash him in the back with a chair. But that was that was kind of a cringeworthy, as in it was badly executed. But the next spot was cringeworthy, as in, oh Jesus, I think he's dead. Styles performs the Styles Clash on Ellsworth on top of the steps. Ellsworth's head misses the steps by that fucking much, a gee hair away from it. I honestly, I was going, my reaction was, oh shit, because the angle they showed it from, I generally thought Ellsworth was after smashing his head off the steps and he was fucked. But no, it turns out that it was close. He didn't hit the steps, but apparently top of his head grazed him. But Jesus Christ. So that kind of took everyone off guard. They were kind of going, oh shit. When we come back from the ad break then, we see Ellsworth on a stretcher being led to an ambulance. And I didn't pick up on this. Ross from WhatCulture.com that pointed this out, that one of the EMTs was the same fella that picked the fight with Sheamus and Cesaro in the bar on Raw the previous night. But everyone knows that WWE hires local development talent to be extras in segments like that. Oh, they always have. So then we second match of the night, we Kane versus Harper. This was a good match actually. No, I thought it'd be a boring kind of plotting match. But no, this was actually, these guys went for it. Like, it was a very even match. Either man could have won it. A very hard hitting match. I think two freight trains just running at each other. That's what it was like. But still a very entertaining match. It ended with Kane picking up the win. Would give us the impression that with Harper losing, that Bray and Randy are going to win in the main event. So, yeah, let's move on. So we have another backstage interview, this time with Becky Lynch, sporting an injury from going through the table earlier on in the night. So she says she's got a bruised spine and that it won't stop her from defending her title this Sunday at TLC, even if it's in a tables match, which we find out later on is confirmed. Becky versus Alexa at TLC for the Smackdown Live Women's Championship in a tables match. So main event time, folks. I know it's been a quick episode, but like I said, not a whole pile happened in this episode. We've Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton versus American Alpha for the #1 contendership for the Smackdown Live Tag Team Championships. I had in my head that, Randy and Wyatt would go out there, they would dominate, but eventually lose to American Alpha. It went completely the opposite way that I thought it was going to go. American Alpha held their own against Bray and Randy, and at one stage actually had the upper hand on the two of them until Luke Harper comes out, causes the distraction, which allows Bray a second attempt to hit Jason Jordan with the Sister Abigail, considering he reversed it the first time. So Ray hits him with Sister Abigail and picks up the win. So at TLC we'll have the Wyatt family consisting of Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt versus Slade and Rhino for the SmackDown Live Tag Team Championships. But the show didn't end there, folks. We cut backstage to see Rhino and Slater watching the ending of the tag match, but then AJ Styles comes in and the three of them start arguing over which title is more important, the World Championship or the tag titles, till we hear out of nowhere someone shouts, "You son of a bitch." In comes Ambrose and absolutely kicks the shit out of Styles. He's got him on the ground, he's beating on him, he's throwing him around the room, he's slamming him off walls, tables, everything. So the show pretty much ends with Dean up on top of AJ Styles just punching away. So SmackDown this week, not a great show. There was a couple of really entertaining moments, a couple of cringeworthy spots and vicious looking spots, but overall definitely the weaker show this week. Raw was on fire on Monday night, and I can understand a lot of the promo stuff in this week's episode of SmackDown, considering it was the go home show, but you can tell those same stories in the ring. You don't have to do promos or backstage segments to tell those stories. That can be done in the ring, and to be honest, it's a wrestling show, it should be done in the ring. Like, to have the go home SmackDown and only have 3 matches in the entire night. So yeah, definitely it was an okay show. It wasn't the worst show, but could have been a lot better too. So anyway, yeah. So folks, what did you think of this week's SmackDown? Let us know in the comments. I've been Kevin from Milner Productions. This has been General Highlights, and as always you can follow me on Twitter at Kevin O'Meester, and I will see you soon with a predictions video for this Sunday's TLC. And until then, good luck folks.